Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
This is Stephen Jordan on BBC Radio Scotland. We're not live, so please don't try to call or text. Over the next 2 hours, we're going to take a trip down memory lane and look back on some of the biggest stories from the past 12 months and morning's best bits. Coming up.
Every ounce of affection, every bite of food and good friendship, it was magic. It has been one of the best days of my life.
When Dave Myers, one half of the beloved Hairy Bikers, sadly passed away at the beginning of the year, his best friend, co-host Simon King made the announcement and said Dave would remain a beacon in this world. We asked you to share stories about your own best friend. We take a look back on International Women's Day and hear about the women who inspire you. And speaking of inspiration, we'll hear from Olympian Greg Rutherford and...
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
ET's icon Rick Astley on his celebrated return to music. Plus...
Because I never heard of that till I moved here. Beans on toast. I mean, that's just against nature.
Shabba.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Not that I don't love you, you know how much I do. And it's not that I found someone to take the place of you. It's just a fear that builds within me every time you touch my hand, and a dread that shakes my body that even I don't understand. So I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Yes, I am. This time I'm playing it smart. Yes, I'm gonna walk away from love. Before love breaks my heart. Than you ever have before. I don't understand it, but I know it's gonna take everything I've got to keep walking out the door. But those arms you got around me will let me go someday, and I'd rather leave you holding on than pushing me away. So I'm leaving. Yes, I am. It's time to play it smart. I'm gonna walk away from love. Before love breaks my heart.
to winter, our phone-ins give you an opportunity to share your thoughts on the stories Scotland's talking about. We've had some big conversations over the past 12 months. Fussy eating is a familiar nightmare for many parents trying to get their kids to sit down and eat. But when research released last year suggested fussy eating was down more to genetics than parenting, it made for an interesting discussion. Here's some of your experiences. The study by University College London looked at the eating habits of more than 2,000 sets of twins and found that nature, not nurture, is what makes children turn away from certain foods. Scientists also found that pickiness peaked around 7 years of age in most children, declining slowly after that. So this morning on the phone-in, your experience of fussy eaters, did you struggle to get your kids to eat what you cooked and what you wanted them to eat? Is it a relief to know it wasn't down to you, anything that you were doing and your style of parenting or your cooking? Let's go to Glasgow. Stephen is there this morning. Morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. What do you think about this?
We had 3 children many years, well, not a lot of years ago, and they used to go down this road. Oh, I'm not eating that. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, we show you in the corner gets this. Or we Mary up the stairs gets that. And our mother would go, look, you'll eat that before it eats you. If you don't want it, there's your bed. Don't think you're going to get up in the morning or come home from school and there's a menu and pick and choose. That is healthy. There's broccoli there, there's sprouts there, there's carrots there, there's homemade soup, there's minced macaroni, loads of meals there, fish, the whole lot. And over a period of time, eventually, they've seen sense and they started to eat. And see now what eaters they are. They eat everything and anything that's going on. What it actually boils down to here, Stephen, is lazy parents. They're lazy. It's not a fussy child. They're just giving it to spoil that child. And the parents is giving them in.
You think lazy parents are giving in to their kids too easily? That's what you're saying?
100%. Lazy parents, and that's what. And it comes to later on in life, they'll do the exact same with their children. And you get a lot of children's people now that I know, adults, teenagers, and that they couldn't even cook to save themselves. Couldn't have a bit of toast.
Stephen in Glasgow with some old school advice there. Let's go to Rutherglen next this morning and speak to Sarah, who got in touch with us this morning. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
Morning. What do you think about this?
I can't say enough how refreshed I was to hear your clinical psychologist saying the things that she was saying, because in my experience, which I'll explain in a wee minute, there's very much the attitude that you've just heard from your callers, which is parent blaming. It's this was not in my day, you're the problem, stop giving in to your children. And actually, genetics existed before the 1930s. Autism existed before the 1930s. ADHD existed. Sensory processing disorder existed. And we just bullied our children and adults into eating, into going to school, into being in noisy places and uncomfortable clothes. And we as a country are suffering now with huge amounts of alcoholism, drug abuse, and hugely unhappy, mentally unwell people. We're allowed to listen to children. They're human beings. And if they're struggling, we shouldn't be calling them fussy and picky. We should be trying to understand why they're struggling to eat something. And I am not a picky eater. I will literally eat just about everything that's put in front of me. But I don't like certain foods, so I avoid them. And when I was younger, I had an experience where a friend of the family had made a lovely spaghetti bolognese for us, and I just couldn't eat it. And my mum called me all the names under the sun. I was saying it's too spicy. I can't eat this. It was making my tongue swell up. And finally, she took a bite and said, "Oh my goodness, yes, you're absolutely right. She's put too much pepper, or she's put too much something in." And from then on, I thought, this is the key. It's about believing children when they give you an experience. So I'm an advocate for absolutely healthy lifestyle, cooking food from scratch, introducing children to lots of different foods, but listening to them when they say, I don't want to eat those peas, but I'll eat that broccoli. And coming up with a compromise that works for everyone.
Because, do you know, the thing is, Sarah, children have very little control over their lives, don't they? And what they put in their mouths is one of the few areas they can control.
exactly. And we as adults, again, we're moving from this generation, which I was brought up in. I'm in my mid-40s, where adults reduced, children just did as they were told. And perhaps we have in some areas gone too far the other way, but children are small human beings who are allowed to want to have control, who are allowed to want to have opinions, and who are allowed to be able to say that. In my situation, we're what we would call a neurospicy household. I have one child diagnosed neurodivergent, one child on the pathway. Both of them will eat just about what's put in front of them. But if my autistic child had the opportunity, it would be a beige diet all the day, because that's safe. Because when you pick up a brioche roll or a chicken nugget or a French fry, you know exactly what it's going to taste like. But when you pick up a strawberry or you pick up a piece of broccoli, depending on how it's been cooked or prepared, it's going to taste different every time. There's all the sensory issues of how it feels. And also, let's face it, food previously was boiled to within an inch of its life. Now we understand steaming, we understand all these different things. And I just think, my children eat foods that I never was exposed to. I didn't have asparagus, I didn't have a butternut squash and all these things. So I think we need to stop the battle. I see children whose parents shout at them for not eating, who are now smaller than they should be because they can't eat, who get sick when they are forced to eat in front of other people. And I just think I don't want that for my children. I want them to be comfortable. The other key is we eat as a family. And we all eat pretty much the same thing. If somebody doesn't like a particular thing, well, maybe there's a slight variation. But there's that kind of, let's do this together and, try different things together.
Yeah.
And if they try it and don't like it, that's fine. But they will try it. And they're able to do that because we've not made them scared of food. And that's what this comes down to.
Don't make it a battleground, says Sarah in Rutherglen. Thanks, Sarah, for your call this morning. Let's speak to Kieran. Morning, Kieran.
Morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. What do you think about this?
Stephen, I'm a nightmare when it comes to food. I am 33 years old, and the list of things I won't eat is so much longer than the list of things I will eat. Like picking some place to go out for a meal is awful when it comes to me. I'm the person who, even if they're ordering a burger, I will have to tell them exactly what I want left on that before it.
Oh, right. Kieran, let's play this game. You're on Saturday Kitchen, okay, and it's your Kieran's Food Hells. Let's have a list. Go.
Onions. Cannot stand onions. I think jelly, broccoli, sprouts, carrots, peas, fish. What else? Lamb. Goodness, Stephen, honestly, see if it's not like a red or a white meat with gravy and mashed potatoes. I don't know if I'm very happy.
Wow. So when did this all start?
I've always been like this. And believe me, my family were very much in the same vein as some of your followers, your callers, who, if you're not eating that, you're not getting anything. And, I was, the forcing was tried, and I can't do it. Can't eat that stuff. I can't. And about 5 years ago, I tried again. I made like a conscious effort to be like, I'm going to try different things. I'm getting older. I should be able to eat more things. And I tried sushi once. I had to run straight out to spit it back out.
So
it was just no. I know. It's very impactful, I would say, on like my life, just because there's so many things I won't eat. And,
so Kieran, 10-year-old Kieran, okay, you're sitting down and your mum's or your dad's made dinner. What's on the table? What would you eat at that age?
Probably there'd be mince, maybe sausages. Again, like you say, mashed potatoes, gravy, maybe a bit of Yorkshire pudding.
This is all sounding pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's like, so there was nothing, like, my diet was very, like, I would always say it was very old-fashioned.
So how's it been, Kieran, like, date nights and going to pals' houses and things like this? How do you navigate this? How do you manage all this?
I mean, it's a struggle a lot of the time. Like, I remember the first time I went to go and have a meal at my in-laws, and they made a curry, and I sat and I picked out every single tiny bit of chopped onion and pushed it to a little corner of the plate. And it's something that still gets brought up to me now about that time, because there was just this little pile of curry onions sitting in the corner of the plate after I finished it, because I like the chicken and I like the rice and I like, the sauce, but I can't take an onion at all.
But how old's your daughter, Kieran?
She's 6.
So how are you managing things with her? And is she showing the same preferences as you have? Is this? Can you see the genetics kicking in here?
No, luckily I think she's taken more after her mum. She absolutely loves fruit. She loves veg, but she does also like the meat from me as well. She is a perfectly happy and normal eater for a lot of things. Except from fish. She's not a big fan of fish, but other than that, she'll quite happily sit and eat anything. And we've been growing vegetables in the garden the past couple of years, and she gets so excited when her peas come up, and she gets to go pick her own peas and eat them with her dinner. And she's a big fan. Just in our packed lunchbox, we'll give her a tub of sugar snap peas with her, and or carrot sticks or cucumber. Cucumber is one of our favourite things. I can't even stand the smell of cucumber, let alone the taste of it. And people are like, oh no, it just tastes like water. And I was like, it doesn't. It tastes like dirty water.
She's got the best. She's got the best of both worlds. She's got the best of your wife and you as well in terms of eating habits.
Yeah. She'll eat anything, and like my father-in-law's a chef, so he's more than happy about that kind of thing. So it's.
I'm nervous to ask this question, Kieran, but what's for dinner tonight?
Tonight, it's Friday, and I don't know. I actually need to go do shopping after this, but I haven't planned that far ahead. So I don't even know what I'm having for lunch.
No onions. That's the main thing.
No.
Kieran, pleasure to speak to you this morning.
All the conversations that matter.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to the best of Mornings with Stephen Jardine from 2024. As this is a recorded programme, please don't text or call. Now, back in January, Hollywood star Russell Crowe revealed he'd traced his family history and discovered he was, in fact, related to a notorious Jacobite lord. Well, that got us thinking, what treasured stories does your own family hold? Have you ever mapped out the family tree and uncovered something amazing? As always, you didn't let us down. Here's some of the stories you shared with us. As we've been hearing this morning, Hollywood actor Russell Crowe has revealed his Scottish roots. The Gladiator star has discovered he's a distant relative of the Jacobite rebel Lord Lovat, who was the last man to be beheaded in the UK. With DNA kits now readily available on the internet, more and more people are digging into their ancestry and investigating the past, their family trees. So have you traced your roots? And what did you find? What do you know about your family history? What's been passed down through the years? How did you go about digging into the past? And what did you find? Did you come up with any surprises? Anything that you didn't know about before? Did it help you understand that programme? Who do you think you are? Did it help you understand just who you are and maybe why you do what you do with your life and the things that you like in life as well? Is there a golden thread that runs down the generations in your family? A skill perhaps that has been passed down through the ages? 80295 if you want to text us this morning. Dennis in Aberdeen. Morning, Dennis. My mother's family history went back to the borders with sheep stealing convictions in the 1700s. My father's history ran out in the 1800s with a pie shop in Dublin. Thought that was bad enough, so I gave up then. Let's start this morning in Edinburgh. Philip Contini, chairman of Valvona and Crolla. Esteemed family business in Edinburgh, going back generations. Philip, morning. Good to speak to you.
Good morning. Great to speak to you too, Stephen. Hiya.
Now, you've done this, haven't you? You've dug back and you got back way into the past. Tell us, what was your motivation for doing it first?
I think that we were... You know, it's an old family company in Edinburgh, founded by my grandfather, Alfonso Crolla, in 1934. And we just wanted to find out where he had come from. We knew the town and the village he had been born in, but we just wanted to go further back. And on the back of that, this was several years ago, on the back of that, you know, Italians have travelled all over the world, and Italians now living in the USA, in Australia, New Zealand, England, South America, want to find out what the roots are, especially their children or grandchildren. Where do we come from? What was it all about? And so I happened to have a friend who had his family tree traced back, and he put me in touch with professional a researcher, and there are several now in Italy doing this job on behalf of so many hundreds of thousands of people, tracing back. So he had come across the Crolla family tree for my grandfather, Alfonso Crolla. You know, there are lots of Crollas in Scotland, and we all come from the same hamlet called Fontitune. And the parish records, because these Crollas were farmers on a mountainside for hundreds of years. And in the parish records, they were born, baptized, they married, and they died. And the records are all there. So the research, in a way, wasn't that difficult. So my grandfather, Alfonso Crolla's ancestry, we go back 12 generations.
Wow. So what's that, 1500s?
To a certain Antonio Crolla, who was born in Fontitune in 1560. And he had a child, Giovanni Battista. I'm reading it here. And he married a Giovanna Maddalena. And throughout this family tree, we've discovered so many surnames of the people in the area are also the surnames of people who are living in Scotland.
Amazing.
So, you know, it's absolutely fascinating.
Any black sheep? Anything you found along the way, Philip, that maybe you wish you hadn't found?
Looking for the black sheep. You know, we're a family of shepherds. Nothing. They were just hard-working, born, married, and died. And yeah, and because of the unification of Italy in the 1860s, all the land laws changed, and then this massive emigration from Italy across the world. And Alfonso landed in Edinburgh in 1912.
Maybe this festive season, in between those mince pies and Home Alone repeats, you'll take some time to sit down and trace your own family history. You're listening to the Best of Mornings with Stephen Jardine from 2024. This is a recorded programme, so please don't text or call. Still to come. After Cy King announced the sad passing of his friend and co-presenter Dave Myers, we gave listeners the chance to celebrate their best friends. And
I had a boyfriend who was a couple of years older than me. He got a tattoo gun, and his friend decided to tattoo my name on his bum for fun, right? And I honestly, at the time, thought it was absolutely wonderful.
tattoos, love them or hate them, we put it to you. But now, back to the music. Here's Clean Bandit and
I don't care who's first or who last. But even though it's a new millennium, you still got to rock this to the drop of a dime. Fuck y'all niggas, what? Is it truck? Well, you got it. Bet this gun blast to your chest and leave your moms broken hearted. Get me started. Come up against this, is you retarded? I ain't shit on you motherfuckers yet. I only farted. Such a dopest nigga from Farborough that's Chris. Put on my mouth shit. The hottest Latino rapper, big pun up on this fly shit. G-Rap the soul survivor with truck kills all the nonsense. When Marley doing the track is big, I mean Jurassic. Like coke, this shit's a classic. From the cradle to the casket. Gonna blow from Bangkok to Brooklyn, Beijing to the boogie down. Then back to my block. Cops follow the trail that lead back to me. I went wrong with 2 Glocks, but it walls off like Tupac. Go clutch the holy cross. Can't save you, still gonna be a holocaust. Truck turner, show no remorse. Go ahead, nigga, floss. But don't be around when the sun go down. I rob you, then gun you down. The 4-4 make a thunder sound, run shit like hug the ground. I'ma count to 10, don't turn around. You see my face, I'ma blaze you. Then let off another round and another round. To your family, put you underground. I told you, kid, I let you down, spray you down, claim your town. Bronx pound, team player, don't play around. Who am I? Truck turner, you're learning now. No matter where you from, I'm the arsonist, I'll burn it down. Don't fuck with that boy.
Next up, soy, castigador aquí. Boricua, let up the mic for the simple. Black rappers I humiliate like half a mic in the sauce. Blast you right off of the stage and engrave a butcher knife in your corpse. What you writing is sore from Pearl Harbor core. Run up on your small empire and spray your tires like Palmer Raw. Who wanna brawl with the Bronx finest? Storm your eyelids off and infect your thoughts like the monster virus HIV. I know you hate my Steve, cause I'm the son of Tony. You phony like fake ID, it's the S-H-I-T. You can smell it, gun smoke making you choke. Take a toke and inhale it, now you can feel it deep inside your lungs, like hot pellets from the shot that we supply the guns. Now where you from, state your resting zone. I'm from the BX, be known as Reggie Escahome, where KRS was born. Let it be known if I don't get you, watch for I guard, cause when you disgrace, you disrespected my squad. Put that on my mother, motherfucker. How dare you disrespect?
Hey bitch, you coming through with the fifth and Glocks, ripping shots and hitting blocks, leaving kids rock, put in the hitting box, splitting tops, leaving face hot, dotted like chicken pox. Clinch the cops with blood out, sniffing socks, sticks and rocks, no trace. Get your click robbed, your wig slug, the shit plug. Catch your big mug, top us just like a chick with big jugs. Up in the strip club, rivers of blood, no coffee, blowtorch like auto mechanics. You order the panic, you slaughter, you bandits. Your daughter be planted inside the ground more than the granite. My gunshots will make you orbit the planet. Roots of evil, people the ball legal, all illegal. The 4-4s are lethal. Cop at the gas, I pop the willies like Knievel. Fire shots are in the regals. Leave all your peoples with palsy and ace cerebrals. Deadly as an addict's needle. Let automatics reap you, sweep you. I'm sending you to Lucifer to keep you, beat you, nail you to the cross on top of the church steeple. Red dots cover your face like the measles. Next up, I believe that's me. Hey yo, light up the mic for the symphony.
Yo, bitch ass, here's a quick class. I'm the blast master cause I blast and whip ass. This'll be over quick fast. Keep mixing it, spitting it, bending it. Did it like juice with gin in it. Haha, jackpot, we winning it. You talk that shit, but you really illiterate. Reading shit like sound out the word, connecting now with the verb. Stick with bird, cause the battle's absurd. Don't let these young kids, yo, suit that ass up. You get smashed up, you gassed up, you put that ass up, really? I don't even see you in the new millennium. I see you like on VH1 with Milli Vanilli and talking about what you used to have. Your abusive dad, oh, it's so sad. Cause I'm just so death-defying, mesmerizing. Every time you say you dope, that's false advertising. But it's not surprising, you lying. You ain't no battle hog. What you got? One demo against my 12-year catalog? Back up, this is the Bronx in the house. Trump turned to KRS without a doubt.
And y'all ripping my damn microphone down to nothing. Cool G-Rap, Big Punisher, my man Truck Turner, KRS-One. Y'all never get on my damn microphone again. Y'all crazy. Get out of here.
Across the United Kingdom and the world.
This is what they want.
This.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Now, this year saw the passing of a number of beloved famous faces: James Earl Jones, Dame Maggie Smith, Quincy Jones, Shannon Doherty, and very tragically, former One Direction star Liam Payne. At the beginning of the year, Cy King, one half of the Hairy Bikers, announced the death of his best friend and co-host Dave Myers. Friends since the 90s, the pair have presented countless TV programmes and written over 100 books together. It was clear they had a very special friendship, and that led to us asking you to celebrate your own best friend, whether they're still with us or not. During the programme yesterday, we brought you the very sad news of the death of Hairy Biker Dave Myers at the age of just 66. The announcement came from his best friend, Cy King, who posted this message on social media. My best friend is on a journey that for now I cannot follow. I'll miss him every day and the bond and the friendship we shared over half a lifetime. Here they are together on BBC Breakfast quite recently, talking about how they became friends.
It's all about friendship with you two as well, isn't it?
32 years now.
32 years, yeah.
Yeah,
32 years.
way before the bikers started. Yeah, we were mates, you know, tooting around on our motorbikes, eating far too much, and the odd drink. Things haven't changed much, have they?
No, dude. No.
What brought you together? What started that friendship? Did you know immediately, oh, we're going to get on?
It was a curry.
Yeah, it was a curry and a poppadom. Yeah.
Over a pool table in a pub in Newcastle.
Who won? We didn't get that far. We stopped
We put our money on the table, you know, and the only way you had to put your money on the table so you were next. And we just went, oh no, somebody else take the game, because Dave and I were just cracking on. And
we worked together.
It was on a, what was it? It was a
Catherine Cookson drama. So you both worked as crew.
Yes, of course.
And
it was great.
And I just got the job. You'd been there a while with the crew, and I just got introduced to everybody. I went down for lunch and met, and then he sold me a really bad motorbike. I'm still waiting to get half the money back.
Bless him. Notice the way they finish each other's sentences there. Since meeting back in 1995, they toured the world, producing hundreds of TV shows, more than 30 cookery books as well. So this morning, we're going to celebrate friendship. We're going to celebrate best friends, that special bond between two people. Tell us about your best friend. How did you first meet? What was it that brought you close? What have you been through together? The ups and downs that life throws at you. Like Si, have you lost a best friend? Let's celebrate them this morning. Maybe you've lost touch with a best friend. What happened? Let's go to Barhead first this morning. Ian is there. Ian, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me about your best friend.
Well, my best friend, we can go back over 40 years ago when we were all members of a social club and didn't know one another. Very briefly, my daughter was struggling with her maths. Someone told us they knew a maths teacher, introduced us. He tutored my daughter. She passed all her exams, and he wouldn't take anything for helping out. So we invited him and his wife out for a meal. Went for a meal, and for the next sort of 2 hours, our wives just sat almost open-mouthed as we talked about our history. And the similarities between the two of us was uncanny. And over the coming years, they used to joke that our parents must have met up sometime because we must have been separated at birth. There was just so many. We were the same, didn't look the same, but we were the same height, same weight, same likes, same dislikes. And I think the only thing that was different was that John was a very keen golfer, and I had never played golf. But there was another couple who were golfers, and the 6 of us used to meet up, go on holiday together, and we just had a great time. Unfortunately, John passed away over 20 years ago, but his wife still remained friends with us, and then my wife passed away, and the 4 of us still get together. And in fact, the 4 of us were just out yesterday at the Oran Moor and had a lovely afternoon together, and we still see each other regularly, keep in touch, and it's as if our partners are still with us when we all get together and relive the good old days.
I'm sorry you lost him. It sounds like he felt like a brother to you.
Yeah,
almost.
he did. We said that a number of times. People actually thought we were brothers quite often if they didn't know us, because there were just so many things that we had in common. And it was very tragic when he passed away. But, like everything else, you got over it. We've all lost friends. And there's one thing that if in the town, we still go to the same social club, and John and I were social conveners at the time, and we brought a karaoke girl in, and this had been the first time this had ever been in the club. This was back when karaoke was quite big, and the one thing we told her was, we don't mind anyone getting up to sing, but whatever you do, don't ask us, because the 2 of us were tone deaf. And of course, no one would get up. Everyone was very reluctant to get up. And the next thing was, they read out our names. Our wives had put our name into a sheet, and the girl said, "Don't worry, we'll give you something easy to sing." And the 2 of us were absolutely terrified, and we had to stand there in front of a packed lounge and sing Puff the Magic Dragon. And that got everyone going, and after that, the night wouldn't finish. Everyone wanted to sing. They were dancing on the tables and having a great night, and they still talk about it even now. That's about 30 years ago. They still say it was one of the greatest nights they'd ever had.
So, Ian, when I read out those words from Si King about Dave Myers yesterday, my best friend on a journey I cannot follow for now. I'll miss him every day. The bond and friendship we shared over half a lifetime. You must have really sympathised yesterday and understood.
Resonates. Yeah, exactly. Know exactly what he means. And I say our wives were the same. Our wives became best friends. Although they were like chalk and cheese, they weren't like John and I. John and I just agreed on just about everything. Our 2 wives were almost the opposite. and the other couple we're with, they were quite often the referees, because we used to get into some terrible rows. We're both very competitive, and when we're on holiday, we used to take either a pack of cards or dominoes or Trivial Pursuits, and the two of us would never give the other team benefit of the doubt when it came to a question or an answer, and it always caused lots of rows.
Just as well you're on the same side, eh?
Yeah.
Just as well. Ian, thank you so much for sharing, John, with all of us this morning, your best friend. Let's celebrate them. Let's go to Aberdeen next this morning and speak to Dennis, a regular voice that you feel like a friend of the show. Dennis, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. What a fine spring day in Aberdeen.
It's lovely. Spring has sprung at last in Aberdeen and elsewhere as well.
Absolutely.
Dennis, tell me about your best friend.
Well, a few years ago, one of the group, we call us the Squashers group. We have a Squashers Day because we played squash 40 years ago in Aberdeen at the Skeen Dhu Squash Club. We got together at the recommendation of our friend Donald, and we have a regular Squashers Day where we dress up in different nationalities, etc. And we have a really fun day. We ignore all the ailments of our ageing ill health and just enjoy the day and enjoy each other's company. And each day is an absolute hilarious event.
Do you mind me asking how old you are, Dennis? I don't think I've ever asked you.
I'm 77.
77, okay. And you're still playing squash?
No.
You've stopped now?
Squash stopped a couple of years ago.
Ah, okay, okay.
We still play croquet.
That's slightly more gentle on the body, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Mike comes along with his chiller for jam and draft beer, and we wash down our fun with some lovely jam and beer. And we have a fantastic day every day. And we dress up in a different theme every time we meet him, every couple of months. We just have fun.
I love the sound of this. And
look forward to every event.
But by this age, Dennis, you'll have been through, as a group, all kinds of things, whether it be illness, bereavements, marriages going astray and stuff.
Hip replacements and knee replacements and cancers. But we just ignore these things. We don't dwell on these things. We just have fun.
What's the bond between you, do you think? When you analyse it, what is it about?
It's the memories of playing squash together and all the events that we had over the many years, 40 years friendship. It's wonderful, yeah? And we just celebrate the friendship. It's brilliant.
Who was the best player?
Mike was the best player. He's very good. But we let him off because he provided German beer.
Dennis, pleasure to speak to you this morning. Thanks for sharing that story. That's Dennis and his friendship group there. You're listening to the best of mornings with Stephen Jordan from 2024. This is a recorded programme, so please don't text or call. Back to the music this morning from 1999. It's the Spinners.
And the happiness and time, I'm ready to get away.
all the conversations that matter.
The Spinners with Working My Way Back to You. It can be really hard to deal with a regret, and even harder when that regret is printed on your skin. And when it was revealed back in February that over 800 potential army recruits had been rejected because of their tattoos, we asked for your thoughts on getting inked.
Love or hate tattoos? What's the story behind your tattoo if you've got one? What did you choose to get done? Do you regret a tattoo that you've had done in the past? Do you judge people who have tattoos? Are you planning to get one? Let's go to Wick. Ian is there this morning. Morning, Ian.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Tell me your tattoo story, Ian.
I got a tattoo many years ago in the early 80s when I was in the military. You know, had a couple of pints, went into a tattoo artist, got what I wanted done, come out, and a couple of weeks later I got put in a charge because I get done for self-harming in the military.
Really?
So, yeah, because I had a tattoo, I didn't have tattoos when I went in, which they check if you have them or not when you actually go into the military, but they found that I had one. It sort of got swelled up because of the chaffing of the shirts we used to wear.
Mm-hmm.
It got inflamed, they seen it, got charged, called 252, got a fine, and ended up with restriction of privileges. So I regret getting that one. It was 2 love hearts on my left arm.
2 love hearts. Who for?
Yeah.
Who are they for?
Well, one's for my ex, really. Who I'm not with, obviously. But I still don't regret getting any of them. I've got one of my regiment on my left shoulder, one of a pirate lady with a massive cutlass on my right shoulder, and a big orc face on my back.
They sound great, so no regrets. You're not part of 40% of people that want to get rid of them. You're happy to have them to the day you die.
I am happy to have them the day I die. I'm identified by them, and I regretted it with the Love Heart one because I got charged in the army, so I lost a bit of money, yeah, and I had to do 7 days carrying stupid logs about and polishing stupid things and all that sort of thing. But I was all right, yeah, I'm happy with them.
I think it's changed now. I mean, the army does not have a problem with tattoos unless these 800 that have been rejected, it's either on their head or face, or it is content that is judged to be unacceptable. But generally, tattoos now acceptable within the army. Yeah. Have people judged you down the years because of your tattoos, Ian?
Definitely, yes, they have. I left the military in 1997, I think, and went and done some training in NHS to become a technical instructor for the NHS, which is physiotherapy, really. And because my tattoos are covered when I have a long sleeve shirt on and a suit and a tie to go for an interview, they didn't see them. But when I got employed to do that job, I had to wear sort of dark blue T-shirts. So they were on, and then my bosses seen them, and they were not happy at all. So they challenged me about them, and we discussed how we were going to cover them up. But the funny thing happened when I was actually on the wards, and the people I was actually treating on the wards, who were usually about maybe 80% elderly, they loved them, and they were always touching them and asking me about them and wanting the history of them. And they adored them. So we didn't ever cover them up, and they loved them, you know. So it was a discussion and a talking point for the elderly on the wards. So I'm still happy I've got them.
Ian, brilliant. Great to speak to you this morning. Ian and Wick, tattoos, love or hate? Let's go to West Kilbride. Isabel is there this morning. Morning, Isabel.
Morning.
You love them, don't you?
I do love them, yes.
Tell us your story.
Well, I'd always kind of fancied getting one when I was younger, but life just kind of happened and I suppose got in the way. And then my daughter kind of grew up and she loves tattoos, so she got a really good one and kind of encouraged me to go for it. So I did, and I got one thinking that would be me, and another 11 later. I've got another 2 booked in next month.
Wow. So what have you got?
So they started off fairly small, kind of hobby related, because I'm from the island. I enjoy doing crafting with Harris Tweed and things, and there were a couple of sewing related ones and the Harris Tweed orb, and then it moved on to I've got an eagle one for the Ilia disaster, and a couple of Alice in Wonderland ones, one of my favourite books, and the one I got a few weeks ago is Banksy's flower thrower. You know, the one where they get a Molotov cocktail out of his hand and put a bunch of flowers in his face. And it looks amazing. That's my favourite one so far.
What's your approach to this? I mean, that's a real range of stuff that you're getting done. Is this for you? Is it your body as a canvas? What are you thinking about this?
Not really. I mean, there's no deep and meaningful reason behind it, just other than I just love the way they look. And I've just always liked tattoos. I don't tend to go for the kind of ones that you can get. But I don't mean standard tattoos. There's no such thing as a standard tattoo, but tattoo artists have their own kind of flash tattoos that you can pick from. But I tend to get ones that are meaningful to me. I've also got a couple of constellations for Gemini Libra for me and my husband, my daughter.
Has your husband got any?
No.
What does he think about these?
He likes them, yeah. He likes them. My daughter's got a couple. She's got another one booked in. So we just, it's true, see what she did say to me, once you get one, Mum, that'll be you. Hooked.
And what's reaction been from friends? People that you've known for years and years. Have they been surprised by this, Isabel?
Not really. No. And people tend to be more curious about them than anything. They tend to want to know what's that for or why you got that. And I've had a lot of compliments, people saying they look amazing, they're really interesting, and I like the look of them, and I've got a really good tattoo artist, she's amazing, and just I'm just going to keep on getting them until I kind of fill my arms, and I don't know if I'll move on anywhere else after that, but
you're going to fill your arms right up?
I am, that's my plan. I've got quite a few ideas still to go. And it's like I said earlier, I mean, I know people earlier on were saying about when you get old and they look a bit saggy and this and that. Who cares? You know, you only live once, and I'm not going to not get a tattoo in case it looks different when I'm 90.
Tattoos, love or hate? On the text on this morning, Sheila says, I'd love to know, are you meant to look at tattoos like a work of art, or are the tattoo owners going to say, what are you looking at? Stop staring at me. We'll ask Sheila in just a second. Anna in St Andrews. Hi, Anna. Tattoos are horrible and facial neck tattoos unacceptable. JJ, tattoos are fine if you're well buffed, like soldiers should be. They look worse as you age. Facial tattoos are questionable. My skinny friend got a tattoo of a cute wee star around her belly button for her 30th birthday and then got pregnant. You can imagine what happened to that star. I love them, says this person. Self-expression at their finest. And Carol this morning. I eventually decided to get my tattoo when I was 62. I was supporting my husband, who I had forbidden to get one all our married life. He surprised me with one, and I just followed. It's a daisy with flowers and buds for the family and grandchildren to come. I love it. It's on my ankle. I'm 66 now, and it ain't sagging yet. Hannah is in Glasgow this morning. Morning, Hannah.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. Your tattoo story, please, Hannah.
My tattoo story, I'll keep it as brief as I can. When I was 15 years old, I had a boyfriend who was a couple of years older than me. He got a tattoo gun, and his friend decided to tattoo my name on his bum for fun, right? And I honestly, at the time, thought it was absolutely wonderful. This was the best thing ever. No one had ever done anything as great. My name was on someone's bum, tattoo, permanent. A few years later, we break up, and pretty amicable, actually. Thought everything was all good, no bad blood. Hear that he's gone travelling, he's living his life, fantastic. And then one morning I wake up to a furious phone call from my sister, who has seen a screenshot on Twitter of him on FaceTime to another girl with bum on display with the original tattoo of my name, Hannah, with a new tattoo underneath that says, is a cow. I could not believe it. I was absolutely furious. I phoned him up. Like, what are you doing? Thought this was all good. Hannah has a cow tattooed on your bum. What are you thinking? He was very apologetic. He said it was a drunken thing in Ibiza. Whatever. We move on. Months later, I receive a FaceTime call from an unknown number. I don't pick up. I then receive a picture of his bum It says, Hannah, the original tattoo from years gone by, is a cow with a tattooed line through is a cow, but you can see is a cow still, with a new tattoo underneath in bigger and fancier fonts, Sweetheart. So we have Hannah is a cow, Sweetheart, on his bum, tattooed there, permanent. I get a text, I hope this makes it up to you. I was like, in what world do you think this is going to make it better? Stop getting tattoos on your bum.
Hannah, who's he going out with now?
I don't know, but whoever she is, she's a lucky lady.
Hannah, you might just be my favourite caller ever. Thank you. Hey, have you got any tattoos?
I do not have any tattoos, no.
Advice to a man thinking of getting his girlfriend's tattoo, you would say?
Absolutely not.
Hannah, you have a great weekend. Hannah in Glasgow.
All the conversations that matter. All the conversations.
Who in the blue hell are you?
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Right at 10:30.
The 8th of March marked International Women's Day, so it should come as no surprise we used the phone in as an opportunity to hear from you about the incredible and inspirational women, past and present, who'd helped shape your lives. How have things changed for women down the years? What's been your experience? Let's start this morning with Rose Riley, the first Scottish woman to win the World Cup. Rose, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. I was expecting to speak to a lady this morning.
Well, it's always me. I get a pass because I'm here every Friday.
All right, okay. I'll let you off for that today then, Stephen. Obviously, I'm only joking, and good morning. It's nice speaking to you.
It's nice to have you with us this morning as well. Tell me about the woman, firstly, the woman who inspires you.
Right, the woman who inspired me was Mary Rand, a British athlete, poster girl of the English Olympic team in the early 60s. And she always inspired me. She won a couple of Olympic gold medals. She got married to a fellow Olympian, English rower. And after a few years, she divorced him, and she got kind of shoved away from the British athletics team because how very dare she divorce her husband.
So it's the adversity that she faced to get to her goal that inspired you.
Absolutely. Her success, first of all, a successful athlete, and her decision, it was her decision to divorce.
And you faced that adversity certainly at the start of your and throughout your sport journey, Rose.
Yes.
Tell us the early days when you wanted to play football down in Ayrshire. How did it go?
The adversity, I would say, like at primary school, I get physically punished because I played football with the boys at lunchtime. So I was only 5 years of age, and that's when I decided emotion was weakness and I wasn't going to show my emotions or cry or whatever. I got physically punished, but I played football every day. Later on in life, I get kind of bullied, called a weirdo because of a short backside. I played with the boys' team. I changed my name from Rose to Ross just to play football, but nothing bothered me. Then I got expelled from high school when I was only 15 for playing football. So then I got a job in a factory, and I get the sack from the factory for playing at lunchtime with the guys. So what do you think?
You had to go to Italy, really, to break through in football, didn't you?
Yeah. First I went to Stade de Reims in France, I turned professional, and then AC Milan bought me, and then I was a professional footballer for many years in Italy. In the meantime, I'd played for my country, played for Scotland, and I was barely 17. And then when I went to Italy, I got banned from the SFA for life for playing for my country. I always say banned. I never actually had any official notification, so I get banned from playing for my country from faceless men in suits, as I call them.
So much has changed, Rose. And when you look at where the game of football is for women nowadays and the profile that it has, in your view, how much further have we still got to go for real equality to happen?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of the girls of today, of what they've achieved. somebody asked me if I was jealous or whatever, and I said no. I said I feel as if they're my daughters. You can never be jealous of your kids.
They're
can
standing
you?
on your shoulders, Rose. That's what they're doing.
I thought my back was kind of sore, Stevie. Anyway, there's still a long way to go, Stephen, especially up here in Scotland. England have kind of paved the way for us, and I think we should always say learn off the best, so we have to kind of copy them kind of thing. I think we just need more investment up in Scotland.
In terms of what your message is to young women nowadays, especially young women embarking on a career in sport, what would you say to them?
I would say to them what I said to myself as a young girl: when you got a hurdle in front of you, don't jump over it, don't go around it, don't go under it, just smash it down.
Rose, what a pleasure to speak to you, especially today on International Women's Day. What a story you've got. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Stephen.
Really lovely to speak to you. Rose Riley there, the first Scottish woman to win the World Cup, lift the World Cup back in the day. What a story she has. Who are the women who've inspired you or continue to inspire you? Maybe it's someone in the family. Maybe someone that's been through great adversity, maybe overcome illness, huge challenges in life. Maybe it's a mum, a sister, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's someone in public life. In Glasgow this morning, Rosie is there. Morning, Rosie.
Oh, good morning.
Morning. Who inspires you this International Women's Day?
Well, the women in my peer group, really, the local Glasgow Waspie women. We've been fighting about the change in state pension age. It was raised by 6 years, and during our careers we all started working just at the inception of the Equal Pay Act. A lot of the women predate that, and we've never had a level playing field. And to use the analogy, your previous callers, they keep changing the goalposts on us. They changed the date of our state pension age twice, and we're currently fighting that. And we're meeting in the Mary Barber statue later today because we're the granddaughters and great granddaughters of the Mary Barber army who actually fought and got the Rent Act changed, and we're currently fighting in Westminster to get justice for the 50s born women.
Rosie, for people that don't know the Mary Barber story, what a great day to share it. Tell us more about her.
Well, just over 100 years ago, Mary Barber and the women that lived in there, the landlords were actually trying to gouge money because a lot of the men were away working in the First World War, and they kept putting the rents up. So it was just a group of women who got together and formed an army, and they fought that, and they took their case down to Westminster, and they got the Rent Act enacted, and that affected the whole of the UK. They were an amazing bunch of women that just got together and got legislation changed, and we're hoping to do the same.
It's a brilliant statue. It's Govan Cross, I think, isn't it?
It's at Govan Cross, yes. Yeah. And, it was just coincidence that our campaign started round about the same time that they actually unveiled the statue, and it's always been iconic to us, and it's been a great focus for our campaign.
We're in Perth now. John joins us this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Morning. Who's the woman who inspired you?
It's my gran.
Tell us about her.
Well, in the First World War, she was quite young. She had two brothers who were in the military, one of whom died, not in action, but medical matter. He died. And after he died, she went and joined the services canteen and went over to Belgium and served in Belgium and France from 1917 to 1919. And she'd be quite young herself at that time, just 17 or 18 years old.
Now, that was a thing, John, that women... I read that quote that Elsie Ingalls, setting up medical units at the same time, got from the War Office. My good lady, just go home and sit still.
Yeah.
How did your gran manage to do that?
I don't know what particular obstacles were in her way, but she certainly went and did it, and at quite a young age too.
What do you remember about her? What are your memories of her?
Oh, quite cheery, strong character, and a great lady.
What have you got left to remind you of her?
Well, it's got her campaign medals from the First World War. There's 2 medals. And the unusual dates there, because the armistice was in 1918, the army actually stayed in Belgium and France because the war wasn't over, wasn't technically over till 1919. So she was still there till 1919. So it was 2 years as a quite a young woman. She was over there in Belgium and France.
Remarkable. What did she do after when she came back? What did she do then, John?
Well, that's another interesting story. I wouldn't have existed barring the fact that she went over there. When she was demobbed, the manager of the services canteen she was at says, I'm going to Peebles to open up a laundry, and I know you're all good workers. If you want to come with me, that'd be great. So she went back to Peebles, and that's where she met my granddad. So barring her service in France, in Belgium, she would never have gone to Peebles and met my granddad.
Amazing. What a wonderful story. And what was her name? Let's give her name, John. She deserves
Amy Bowman was her maiden name, so it's Bowman from the Angus area. And Rob was the surname that my granddad had. He was, again, from Angus, and they both met in Peebles.
John, what a lovely story, and you're so right to be proud of her, and I'm glad we've managed to celebrate her. You're listening to the Best of Mornings with Stephen Jardine from 2024. It's a recorded programme, so please don't text or call. Still to come, though, we'll look back on my interview with gold medalist Greg Rutherford and...
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run.
We give you another chance to hear from 80s icon Rick Astley on his celebrated return to music.
Across news.
This is Stephen Jardine on BBC Radio Scotland. We're not live this morning, so please don't call or text. Over the next hour, we're going to take a trip down memory lane and look back on some of the biggest stories from the last 12 months and the show's best bits as well. Coming up...
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
We'll look back on when 80s icon Rick Astley joined us to talk about his return to music. And we'll hear from Olympian Greg Rutherford. Plus...
I've been here 20 years and I can't bring myself to even try it.
What, baked beans on toast?
And of course there'll be plenty of great music throughout the show.
The Best of Mornings with Stephen Jardine.
Is everywhere on BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah!
I never can say goodbye. No. I never can say goodbye, no. Even though the pain and heartache seem to follow me wherever I go. Though I try and try to hide my feelings, they always seem to show. And then you try to say you're leaving me, and I always have to say no. Tell me why is it so that I never can say goodbye? No. I never can say goodbye. Every time I think I've had enough and start heading for the door, there's a very strange vibration piercing me right through the core. It says, turn around, you fool. You know you love her more and more. Tell me why. Is it so? I don't want to let you go. I can't say goodbye. Oh, I'll never say goodbye. No matter I try. I never can say goodbye. No. I never can say goodbye. I keep thinking that our problems soon are gonna all work out. But there's that same unhappy feeling that makes that anguish twist that doubt. It's what that same old dizzy hang-up can do with you all the time. Tell me why. Is it so? I don't want to let you go. I never can say goodbye. Oh, I'll never say goodbye. They're gonna let you go. I can't say goodbye. I need you so. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye. You're my one and only lover. I can't say goodbye.
The Old Gone Kid. Now, I'm lucky enough to have been able to speak to some incredible people on the show this year, including those who've reached the absolute top of their careers, like Olympic gold medalist Greg Rutherford. After a YouGov poll showed getting more exercise is the main motivation for people trying to change their lives at this time of year. If you're looking for inspiration to do just that, then look no further than my next guest. Greg Rutherford won gold in the long jump, London 2012 Olympics, and went on to become one of our great track and field stars. However, that wasn't enough, and in 2021 he joined the GB bobsleigh team, hurtling down the ice at speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. Later this month, he's going to be back on the ice, hopefully not at that speed, as one of the contestants on this year's Dancing on Ice competition. So he's the perfect person to give us some New Year fitness and moving motivation. Greg, morning. Welcome to BBC Radio Scotland.
Good morning. Yes, very much hoping that if I'm getting up to 90 miles an hour on the ice rink, then something has gone incredibly, or maybe incredibly right, actually, thinking about it. But that would be terrifying, I can tell you.
Let's see how it goes. It is a time of year when people make resolutions. Have you made any this year?
Yes. I mean, from my point of view, it's just about maintaining sort of the good habits that I've developed over the years in order to make sure that I can stay where I need to be, staying fit and healthy. And keeping myself moving. Now, towards the end of my athletics career, my body was in a bit of a bad way and having injuries and things. So for me, I've had to stay on top of basically staying fit, staying a little bit lighter. I like to put on a little bit of weight, maybe over the Christmas period, as most people do, eating cheese and drinking wine, etc. But then it's about knowing and understanding what I've got to do, get myself back onto it, and get myself basically in a maintainable shape, rather than worrying about fad diets or anything else like that. It's just about my education and understanding that, and then working on something that means that I can stay fit and healthy.
Right, help us mere mortals with this as well, because I think a week today, Greg, is the Friday when most people fail with New Year resolutions around health and fitness and diet and all the rest of it as well. So your approach is no fad diets, just be sensible about it.
Yeah, well, this came out with some research from MyFitnessPal, which was really interesting to see. And I'm working alongside them with their small steps plan. And it's something that it's fascinating. It showed that everybody so in the UK will do up to 5 fad diets a year, and 93% will fail or last about 2 weeks and then just go back to to normality. And obviously, what we find with fad diets a lot of the time, and a lot of people that will be able to relate with this, you'll see either some remarkably sculpted human standing there promoting it, or they'll see something, their friend will tell them about, oh, this was great, I did this and it changed my life. But actually, nutrition and health is a really individualized thing. So rather than following a fad and generally failing after 2 weeks, actually understanding what you're putting into your system is one of the most important things that you could possibly do. And that's where tracking food is a hugely important part of it. It's something that's proven that people that track their food, something that I've done for many years, they find it far easier to maintain and get their health and fitness goals, just because you know what's going in your system. And I think in the UK, there's not enough education out there for actually what works for people, what is in your foods. And again, some of these fad diets, I don't know if you saw any of the stats, but one of the fad diets that absolutely blows my mind, which is an older one, but it was drink a bottle of wine and eat eggs every day. And I mean, to me, that's somebody that's very much still on their Christmas break, having a lot of fun. Do you know what? I'm going to get some mates involved in this, and we're going to just drink wine and eat eggs and pretend that's a diet. But it shows over the years, the cabbage diet, the baby food diet, all these things that come out. You can't live your life like that. That's completely unobtainable. But making small changes, that's something that is really useful. And just understanding what you eat. That really does help.
So do you write it down, Greg? I mean, have you got a book, or do you do it on your laptop? What do you have for breakfast today?
But for me, it all goes into the app. So this morning it was eggs, and from that I know the protein that comes out of it, sodium, all of these sorts of things. Those macros that it shows you that is in your food is a really, really useful thing. So you know, obviously, that the fats, the protein, the carbs that are going into your system, and you can set different goals. So if you want to put weight on, you understand, and it's going to tell you then how many calories you need to consume based upon your body weight, size, the whole thing. So it becomes really individualized. If you want to lose weight, similar, you understand. So you get a calorie readout, you get a macro readout, and these are really useful things. But for everybody, I mean, often I think what we do, you could be at work, you could be out and about, you run into a shop and you just grab something, eat it without really thinking what's going on. Then you do it in the same later. You cook something or you order in some food, you're not actually checking what's going in the system. And then before we know it, sometimes we're thinking we're eating healthier foods. It could be a sandwich, which you don't realize has loads of sugar in it, as well as other things. And before you know it, so you're now, well, you're putting on weight, or you're not feeling as healthy, you're feeling lethargic. So food education, I think, is hugely important.
How did your diet and your training change, Greg? One of the really fascinating things about you is when you moved from track and field, an Olympic gold medalist. Now, what most people do after that is then become a coach, or they become a BBC pundit and presenter around sport. You could have done, and you've done that stuff as well. But you also decided to get right out of your comfort zone and get onto the ice with the UK, the British bobsleigh team. How did your body have to be different for the ice compared to long jump?
Well, at first it sounded absolutely wonderful when the British bobsleigh team said to me, you need to get as heavy as you possibly can while maintaining as much power as you can.
That's
so you
my
get to lift
kind of
lots
diet.
Of heavy weights. Yeah, well, this is it. You have to lift a lot of weight, though, and do a lot of sprinting. That was the big thing. So you have to effectively live your life like an Olympic sprinter, but while consuming vast amounts of food as well. And to put it into perspective for people, so when I jumped in the Olympic Games, the 3 that I went to, I was pretty much the same weight every time, which is about 86 kilos, which is heavy for a long jumper, but I'm quite a big, heavy-set guy, so I was just a heavier jumper anyway. Then for the bobsleigh, I had to get up to 106 kilos. Now, I sit naturally in probably the mid to high 90s, sometimes around 100k, depending on what it is. So that's quite a lot of weight to put on. And that comes from, again, a lot of training, but calorie consumption. And that's, again, tracking that is so much easier rather than just throwing anything in at any point. Understanding that is really useful, because I think this time of year as well, it's difficult. Everybody just assumes it's just about losing weight, but for some people, it's also putting on weight and understanding what's going in your system to do that. So again, tracking it, understanding it, it's a really useful tool.
And now, dancing on ice coming up for you. What shape? What kind of shape do you need to be in for that?
So I started training for this in October. So that's when they get everybody together, and then you go off, you have a couple of weeks you coach, then you meet your pro. And since starting the show, now obviously Christmas, I enjoyed myself a little bit as well, but I've already lost about 6 kilos, I think it is, while training for this, because I'm training a lot again. I'm working really hard and I'm really on my nutrition again. That was a really important thing, because fundamentally I've got to perform in front of lots of people. They want to put me in. I think the first outfit is a very tight number, which is slightly terrifying.
Greg, they're all tight.
Well, that's the problem. I know. So I've now got to basically get myself in where I feel comfortable, of course, within myself to do that. But it's not just the fact of how you look. It's obviously for me how I feel as well. I've got to lift somebody up. I've got to be doing all these tricks and moves and things. So being as healthy as I possibly can is a hugely important part of it. But it is also slightly terrifying, not going to lie. It's the prospect of going in front of everybody, ice skating, which is a difficult skill within itself, and trying to make it look like a very strong performance. It's terrifying.
How many times have you fallen over?
Quite a few. Yeah, I think that's something that you have to accept when you sign up for the show, that you are going to be hitting the ice ever so often. You are going to have, in my case, it's been a bruised bum quite a few times, and a nasty whack on the hip early on, which wasn't particularly fun. But it's one of those things that you just sort of get yourself back up, dust yourself off, or brush the ice off anyway, and then go again. You have to have that mindset of you're going to fall, so you've got to crack on, you've got to get up, you've got to get back on it again, and you've just got to work hard. But it's a tough sport, but it's a wonderful sport. And actually, speaking to a lot of people involved in sport, sadly, not enough boys get involved with skating. And it's something that I would say now I understand figure skating as I do, what an incredible sport it is. And I would say for everyone to give it a go, not just at Christmas, whenever you can, go and give it a go. It's great. Again, it's another training tool. It's something that you can go out there and burn a few calories if that's what you want to do. But also, if you're a youngster, go and learn a new sport. You shouldn't be worried about things like calories as a kid. But as a kid, you should be thinking about being as fit and active as you can. So I'd highly recommend ice skating.
It's a funny old thing, isn't it? Because compared to the old days, a lot more young people are doing it. You see it in all these ice rinks that pop up at Christmas time in cities around the country, and then it disappears again for another 11 months until we come back to that. Has it made it any easier for you, the fact that you did the bobsleigh training and that you've been on ice and you're used to the cold? Is that an advantage for you?
No. The bobsleigh was basically jump on the back of a bobsleigh, hold on for dear life while you're travelling 90 miles an hour down the ice, and then wait for the driver to shout brake so I could pull on the brake. It's a very different experience. Now, I think I'm quite like it. I don't mind the cold. But the studio, actually, funny enough, the ice rinks around the country are pretty cold. The studio, where we've been training all week, it's actually relatively warm. It's not that bad. So from that point of view, it's quite nice. But no, sadly, zero crossover. Although there is at times while I'm skating around with Vanessa, my partner, and there are moments where I am holding on for dear life still. But I have to show a slight level of control. Whereas with the bobsleigh, there is zero control for my point.
We wish you luck, Greg. This year, an Olympic year, Paris Olympics this year. How will it feel? 2012, your golden summer then. How will it feel watching the Olympics this year, watching the long jump, watching competition and not being part of it?
Do you know what? I was at Tokyo and I was covering the games and interviewing the athletes poolside and trackside and stuff. And I found very, very quickly, because when I went, I was concerned that it was going to be one of those ones of, oh, what if I was there? Could have I competed, etc. But I realised very quickly, I'm a massive sports fan, as well as obviously a former sportsman myself. I just love watching it. I love being around it. And I love being that fan again now. I remember it as a kid. My first memory is Linford Christie winning in '92. And that's my first sporting memory. And I was a young lad at that point. But I just remember how my family reacted, how good it made me feel to watch these incredible performances. And that's what I get from sport again now. I had my time. I was very happy that I won way more than I ever expected to in my career. So I retired happy. Now I get to be a part of things like the Olympic Games in a different way. And I love it. And speaking to these athletes, and it's the highs and lows, but for some, of course, they'll come away with the greatest performance of their life. And it could be an Olympic gold medal. I've been there and I understand what that feels like. And I always like to think that when I'm having a conversation with them, I can see it from that point of view. But equally, when it goes wrong, and my first ever games went incredibly wrong for me, you can also empathise with people and try and help them understand that it's not the absolute end of the world. There will be more opportunities in life. but it's tough. It really is tough for the athletes. But I am so excited, and I will be out there. I'm so excited to just be mingling, be amongst it, and just be a massive sports fan because I love it. I think it's brilliant.
I think it's going to be a special games. The time frame is right for us, obviously, in this country watching. It's going to be an exciting summer, this one. Great. You tempted to wear your gold medal for Dancing on Ice alongside that skin-tight blue catsuit that, you know, with the bell bottoms they're going to get you into. I mean, that could just intimidate the opposition if you're flashing around the ice with a gold medal around your neck.
Yeah, the problem would be, though, I end up catching an edge, falling on the ice, and then I'll smash the medal. And sadly, with those medals, you only ever get one. They never give you another one if you break it. And some people sadly have broken them. So, no, that medal is very much put away. I haven't seen it in a very long time, actually, but it's put away.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah. Do you know what? There was a period of time where I didn't because I hid it so well I then couldn't find it again. But no, I do know where it is. It's in a safe. It's locked away. I often keep it actually off-site in a lock-up facility. Just to keep it super safe. But it's a funny old thing with those medals. Obviously, they're the tangible thing that people can hold and see. But for me, the Olympic Games, it's the memories that I have and how I saw it. I obviously saw it very different to everybody else because I was living it. And that for me is when I get to think about it, they're those special moments which I absolutely cherish.
More moments to remember coming up, I'm sure. Dancing on Ice. Real pleasure to speak to you this morning. Greg Rutherford, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Greg Rutherford there, Olympian, speaking to me back in January. You're listening to the Best of Mornings with me, Stephen Jardine. It's a recorded programme, so please don't text or call. Keep listening for my interview with Rick Astley talking about his career comeback. Back to the music, though, this morning with ABBA.
You can dance, having the time of your life.
BBC Radio Scotland.
Me, Connie McLaughlin. Hi, me, Zarjan Jua.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to the Best of Mornings with Stephen Jardine from 2024. This is a recorded show, so please don't text or call. This time of year, it's all about food, glorious food, but we've got to make breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. How do you make those midweek meals a bit more exciting? We roped in Chef John Quigley and home cook Cynthia Holden to show us exactly how to spice up your staples. Morning, it's time for a foodie feature, Spice Up Your Staples. Each week we take a favourite family meal, something that you just make week in, week out for the family, and try and make it a little bit more exciting for you. This week we're focusing in on beans on toast. What makes yours so special? What's the twist that everyone loves in your house? Chef John Quigley, owner of Red Onion Restaurant here in Glasgow, and former restaurant owner and force of nature Cynthia Holden in the studio each week, going head to head, competing to see who's got the ultimate version. John is one up this year.
Yep.
On the basis of your soup. So beans on toast, I mean, it's a real family favourite, isn't it? No, Cynthia, no. Cynthia's shaking her head here.
We have an American in Scotland Facebook group, so we talk about food quite a bit on this Facebook page, and we are all just, because I never heard of that till I moved here, beans on toast. I mean, that's just against nature. I've been here 20 years and I can't bring myself to even try it.
What, baked beans on toast?
Oh,
were you not? Were beans not an integral part of the dinner table growing up?
Okay, so we're having an issue with that combination. Beans on toast. I'm not talking about beans.
Okay.
It's beans on toast. The in Scotland, you guys don't know there's a war on carbs, right? Y'all don't.
No, we don't.
Okay, I got that.
We're firmly against it, actually.
So growing up, what was the version of beans that you ate?
Well, we ate black-eyed peas, green beans, butter beans, all sorts of beans. We just didn't put them on toast.
Yeah,
okay.
Toast may be the issue here. Okay, so John, for you, family favourite?
Yeah, not really a nighttime, a dinner meal, but it was a kind of lunch thing, wasn't it? It was a quick and easy lunch, and it's one of those things that you can actually open the can, reheat them, however you want to do that, and put them down in front of the kids and be guaranteed that they're going to eat them, So it's
and do it in like 5 minutes flat as well as the beauty on this.
So there's a lot of peace of mind when it comes to beans, but they're so versatile and they're full of protein, full of fibre, So and since the sugar and the salt were reduced in the recipes, they're even better for you now, I think, But so versatile, they're a great vehicle. We spoke about that earlier, Cynthia, about to carry other flavours, and other
why
ingredients.
do you need the toast? Let's just explore Cynthia's objections here. Why do you need the toast, John?
I'm so glad. I'm ready.
You need something to soak it up. You need that other vehicle, whether it's a baked potato or toast,
works.
or even rice. Maybe I've seen them in an omelette.
Oh, come on!
I've seen
baked beans and rice.
Curry your beans, and then put them on rice. You can't go wrong.
That's a thought.
See, you can't really go wrong with beans. This is the great thing. My dad used to fry them in the bacon fat. Really nice. That was the way to go.
There aren't many things that are that simple to make that are nutritious and good for you. I guess that's one of the big arguments for beans on toast, Cynthia.
Yes, I was saying to John earlier, he was having a laugh, because when I first moved here and I cooked baked beans for my husband, we were sitting down and he said, if I didn't know better, I would have sworn you put sugar in these beans. And I said, of course I did. And he was like, because for our baked beans, we put sugar or syrup or a barbecue sauce in our beans. We eat our baked beans sweet.
Okay, and are you talking beans from fresh, dry beans soaked overnight, then boiled?
No. I'm talking about baked beans, because that's what you got serving for breakfast. Like when I go get a full breakfast.
Yeah, not
at
a Scottish
restaurant.
breakfast. That's too controversial.
Yeah.
Full Scottish does not contain beans. I'm sorry.
There's another issue as well when the beans spill over into the rest of the breakfast. A lot of people are really fussy about this. So they like their beans in a little ramekin. That's okay. But if the beans are touching the sausages or the bacon, all bets are off.
Yeah, that's another meal in itself. Beans and bacon, beans and sausage. That's another meal. But beans and a breakfast, not for me.
No? Not having it?
Not having it.
So what are baked beans, John? What type of beans are they?
They're haricot or cannellini. It's a type of navy bean, is a generic bean. But within that, you've got haricot and navy and cannellini. As you can see, these look identical. The beans, my beans and Cynthia's beans look the same bean as a Heinz baked bean. Sorry. So that's your basic bean. But they're not baked; they're actually steamed. And then they're added to the sauce.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so the original recipe would have been a baked bean in a casserole, slowly baked. But now, through the food production methods, they're steamed and then they're added to the sauce.
See, that doesn't sound so appetising, steamed beans.
In a sauce? No, it's
Does it?
not.
I'm not into
Absolutely
that.
not.
Okay. So our lovely listeners are always right in on this. Your version, ultimate version of beans on toast. Kev says, mixed, baked and taco beans, fine diced shallots and garlic, sliced cooked sausage and chorizo, smoked paprika, half a tin of tomatoes, good toasted bread on the side. That was last night's dinner. Just finished the rest on my break at work. That's another great thing as well about baked beans. Really portable as well, aren't they? Favourite in the office at lunchtime.
Pop them in your bag, absolutely. And then you can do them in the microwave. You know, you can do them in a pot. So simple, so versatile.
Dave in the Borders, beans on toast, add a mix of a handful of sultanas and curry powder to taste. You want to see Cynthia's face here. She's not loving this morning.
Well, I said, use the curry powder. Yeah.
You said it. Glenn this morning, spin on baked beans on toast. Sourdough bread, well toasted, loads of virgin olive oil, beans with added chili flakes, with a topping of Parmesan cheese.
I can see it. It's not far from what I've brought in today, actually.
Covered with cheese, melted under the grill. I'm in on that. It needs cheese on top.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, but I think crucially you have to toast the bread. The bread has to be toasted. I don't like that soggy bread under my beans. It's got to be nice and crisp. So make sure that bread is toasted and the beans are hot going on, and then your grill's hot, loads of cheese, whatever your flavour is, and then give it that nice cheesy beano look.
How do we feel about cold beans?
Oh, you're just trying to make me go home and take a nap. No.
Not having it.
I can take cold beans if they're like on their own, they're dry, but not in it from the can.
Could
not
you
a
not?
fan.
I think I could.
Why would you do that? Let me ask you that. Why would you do that?
Well, needs must on some occasions. If it's there and it's open.
I mean, I think the best beans are those beans that you have when you're camping. If you were ever a scout or a cub, they're the ones cooked in the open, over an open fire, with a wee can of sausages.
But you have to have the barbecue baked beans, man. If you've ever been to the States and gone to these barbecue restaurants and they serve those barbecue baked beans.
So how do they do them? What's in them?
Now, my sister Faye, she makes some amazing baked beans. And
you've got a sister?
Of course. Listen, I have 6 sisters and I'm the small, quiet one.
All of a sudden we're terrified. So what does Faye do?
So Faye, I think she might brown sugar. How is that, Carolyn? One of my sisters. Brown sugar, honey, butter. Now, I don't know her secret recipe. I know some things that are in them. But honey,
well, you're her sister. She won't even tell you.
Of course, I won't tell them mine. What are we trying to do here?
Right, so here we go. It's the bean off this morning. So I've got in front of me a plate with John's ultimate baked beans and Cynthia's ultimate baked beans as well. Cynthia, you talk me through what you've done first of all this morning.
So now this is a canned haricot, whatever you want to call it. You know me, I'm not reinventing the wheel. So I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to get myself a can of beans. That's how I'm going to start. And then I'm going to take some bacon bits, so lardons, and I'm going to fry those bad boys up. I'm going to put in a wee bit, because that's bacon. You don't need a lot. A bit of salt, garlic salt, little seasoning salt. Cook that and add the beans. You don't need to do anything else. Boil them. All the flavor from that ham mixture is going to go right into those beans. And that's all you need to do.
Okay, so that's not a can of baked beans. That's a can of haricot beans.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Beans are beans.
And I love the idea of the flavour going into the bean, you know, no matter what you match up.
John, what have you done?
So, what I have done...
What have you done?
Show off.
Yeah, so I've got a little Italian twist on it. Okay, so these are cannellini bianco beans. And what I did was I sautéed a wee bit of white onion with some garlic and butter. Then I added a touch of cream, a nice spoonful of Dijon mustard.
Isn't the whole point of beans on toast that it's quick and easy?
Yeah, well, I'm just showing how you can gentrify it. You know, this is like, you know, taking it way left field here. And then I added my beans, and that was a can of like cannellini beans, basically. But I kept some of the juices that's in the can with it as well to complete the sauce. And then I added a wee grating of truffled pecorino.
Oh, come on.
I smell truffle.
And I've topped it with more shavings of truffled pecorino, sprinkling of rocket leaves, served on toasted sourdough, of course.
Would this make it onto the menu in your restaurant, maybe at lunchtime?
It could be. This is the kind of dish you'll find in every gentrified brunch house from Shawlands to Shoreditch at the moment, I think.
Right, John, you try Cynthia's.
Yeah,
Cynthia, you try John's.
Now, you've done your chef thing.
Yeah.
I've opened up a can of beans and added bacon, and you've done your chef thing. I think you need to be disqualified.
Do you know, I'm going to create a level playing field here, but I'm refusing to eat your toast, John. I'm just going to eat both beans
I'm the
and
same
give them a
way.
try.
I'm
All right, John, what do you think of Cynthia's?
This is really what I was hoping Cynthia was going to bring in today, you know, like sort of, to me that feels like Southern cooking. You know, it's simple, it's wholesome, but it's really delicious as well. And you know what the great thing about bean is? You know, a little goes a long way, doesn't it? You know?
Now, John has taken a little leaf out of my book, because I'm telling John, honey, you need to season your food. These beans are so well. I'm almost tempted to eat that bread. Almost.
Not quite, though.
These beans are so good.
It just shows you how versatile they can be, you know.
So many flavors.
Well, they can be, you know, it can be beans and toast, or it could be like you could be sitting in a nice restaurant eating beans as well.
Okay, it's time to make a decision on this, and this is a really difficult one. I'm tempted to disqualify you both, because neither of these bear any resemblance to beans on toast.
That's a good point, actually.
I didn't even bring toast.
Mark on the text this morning says sourdough toast, beans with brown sauce.
Okay.
Great. Didn't see that one coming. The brown sauce and the tomato sauce. How would that work?
Yeah, that'll work. You got those kind of nice barbecue flavours going on there. I think that'll work fine.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really, really hard one, this. But on the basis...
But you can appreciate the effort I've made, can't you, Stephen?
On the basis that you've gone with the brief on the toast, John.
Yeah.
For that alone, and the fact that you brought a little bit of truffle in this morning and know how expensive that is, John, I'm going to reluctantly give you it this week, okay? So that is 2 out of 2. I think we need to be a bit fairer to Cynthia next week, probably, and find something that's a bit more in her comfort zone that she actually wants to eat.
I thought she had all the beans were in her corner this week, actually, but there you go.
Both delicious, but in a very different way.
All the conversations that matter.
Your mornings just got better.
This year on BBC Radio Scotland.
This is the Best of Mornings with Stephen Jardine from 2024. It's a recorded programme, so please don't text or call. When you think of 80s music, how long before this pops into your head?
Never gonna give you up. She said, take off those fast records and let me hear some down home blues.
Talk to superstar Rick Astley about his big musical comeback and his preparations for Transmit in Glasgow in 2024.
Now, it's not often a musician gets two chances at fame and success, more than 30 years apart. Rick Astley shot to fame in the 80s with Stock Aitken and Waterman, selling 40 million records worldwide. But 4 decades on, he's back with a bang again, storming.
Hope you've enjoyed the show this morning and you're having a wonderful festive break.